Oh, this is heavy.
Wear them up on top.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I probably look so stupid, and I'll end up fixing them at some point. But like, I don't really care.
Sometimes I'll edit in glasses, and like after like 30 minutes, it's just like I have like little lines on the side of my head. Yeah.
I forgot you wore glasses. You never wear glasses.
I always wear contacts, but dude, lately my contacts have been like driving me crazy.
I can't do it.
Like my right eye, for whatever reason, the past 2 days, I thought I had a bad contact, and so I took it out, threw it away, and put a new one in. It just won't focus.
Yeah.
It's like I got astigmatism or
Yeah.
a lazy eye or something.
No,
I don't know.
Yeah, I've had one since I was like
Sucks,
2
dude.
years old. Like since I was 2 years old, I've had a lazy eye. So I've worn glasses from 2 until I was like probably like 12 or 13 years old, and then the eye doctor was just kind of like, after like years and years and years ago, and he was like, I mean, it's like there still, but it's not bad. So you can wear them or you can not wear them. It doesn't really matter. So I went like a long time without wearing glasses ever again because I wore them for so long. And then probably about like 21, 22 years old, like it started getting bad. Nighttime, driving, like I could tell that like something wasn't right. So I went back and they were like, yeah, I mean, it's not as good as it was like when we checked it, you know, a million years ago. But like, yeah, you should probably start wearing glasses while you're driving if like you're noticing something. So I just been wearing them ever since.
Well, dude, I didn't even realize I had a problem. And a buddy of mine had luckily, he just happened to have like a similar prescription to what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And we got on the subject of glasses. And I was like, yeah, I don't really know if I need glasses. And he's like, here, try these. And I put them on.
Night
I was
and day.
like, oh my God. I was like, you could see like leaves and stuff. This
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
I just been looking like, you know, I'm nearsighted. So everything far away is blurry. But I can see up close.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like, dude, I need glasses immediately.
Yeah.
I can't believe I've been driving.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes that's how it works. Because, like, think about it when you're a kid, especially, like, I'm not a parent, you know, but my sister has a kid. So, like, I'm really close with my niece. The two most important things are your physical health, and then, like, you got to keep your teeth clean, you know? Like, you got to keep your
Sure.
teeth, like, in good shape.
Yeah.
You never really think about your, like, eyes.
Eye care.
So, like, when I was 2 years old, the only reason they found out was, like, I'm 2 years old sitting in a high chair. My whole family's, like, around the table for, like, Thanksgiving or Christmas or some shit like that. And my grandma's, like, looking at me in the face, and, like, my eye is just, like, this one's just, like, down
She's the one
here.
that noticed?
And I'm, like, one's, like, straight, and the other one's, like, way down here. And she's like, I think something's wrong with, like, Hunter. Like, he's got something going on, like, with his eyes. And my mom, of course, is like, there's nothing wrong with him. What are you talking about? You know, like, there's nothing wrong with my kid. Be quiet, you know?
One of
And then
these.
she's looking at me and she's like, oh, something's wrong.
Something's
yeah.
wrong. Oh, dude.
Yeah. But then other times, like, it might not be, like, something so obvious. So
Yeah.
it's like, take my kid to the doctor, take my kid to the dentist to get their mouth not messed up, and then that's it. And then that you don't think about the other stuff unless, you know, it's vocalized.
Yeah.
But
I never got like regular eye checkups when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was like literally I was probably like 22 when I realized that my eyes were all fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Randy.
Yeah, dude. I did it, dude. Every 6 months. And like getting eye drops. Dude, I hated it. I was so mean to my dad. Oh, I was so mean. My mom wouldn't go with me because I hated it so much.
Dude, that's
Just
that's
the
brutal.
thought of like liquid in my eye, I was like, that doesn't seem right. Now that I'm older, I'm like, there's like already like liquid in there.
Yeah,
Kinda.
yeah. Y'all need more.
Yeah. Just need a little
Dude,
more.
this beer is so sour. Oh my gosh.
Can you taste
That
the
is
coconut
Funk Farm
and the
for
papaya?
sure. This is that's wild.
What is it?
We
what
go
is
with
that?
the camera. Okay, cool.
Is that
It's a good people.
It is good people. So
yeah.
it's probably like some kind of special something or another.
This is the Cocoya coconut and papaya,
Yeah.
the Kettle Funk Farm sour. I'm not a huge fan of sours. I'm giving this one a try.
Yeah.
Shout out to Good People. They hooked us up with a bunch of beers
Yeah.
for the podcast, and
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
beers I probably wouldn't have normally tried, but
I can get down with this one for
yeah,
sure.
Muchacho classic.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So
I like regularly just drink like Modelo or Tecate, but Tecate #1. It's the best one. It's the cheapest one and it's the best one.
There you go.
Like I know plenty of people that drink it as much as I do. They feel the same way. They're like, Tecate is the one.
Now
It's
you
top
mixing
tier.
it, you putting it in the cup and doing the spice around the rim. And
Dude,
all that.
oh, so yeah, sometimes, huge fan of the michelada.
Micheladas, yeah.
Huge fan of the michelada. You know, you
Is
go
that
to
with the
a-
hot sauce and everything?
Dude, it's got all kinds of stuff in it. It's basically just like a Bloody Mary, but instead of vodka, you're using beer. So like, I don't know.
I've never had one, man.
It sounds weird. It sounds kind of gross, but I mean, vodka is gross, but it is good.
I'll try
I'm
it.
telling you, like, dude, for a long time, Mexican restaurant regular margarita every time.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, no.
You get the micheladas?
No, michelada.
Okay, sweet. I'll give it a try.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, I watched the Nightclub episode with Tommy Sandoval.
Tommy,
and
yeah.
He made
He's
micheladas
making 'em.
on there.
Oh,
and
it
I
looks
was-
terrible though.
Yeah.
It looks
I don't
so
know.
bad.
Oh,
I
dude,
thought
I would have drank it.
I was looking at it like, I'd try that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's been a long time since I've seen that episode. I used to keep up with that podcast like so much.
Dude, they got like 3 episodes
then,
coming out
like-
every week.
Yeah.
It's
It's
crazy.
kinda hard.
And then it kind of got to where like with COVID, because like I was like so busy with work, like they kicked everybody out of the office, and then when we got kicked out of the office, I went into a different role, and that role required me to be in office. So like it's like deserted, and I'm the only one there. So like sometimes I would watch the episodes, but when it got to like the part of COVID where they were like, all right, we're gonna keep doing this, and it was like they were doing like Zoom calls
all
and stuff
remote,
like that.
yeah.
You know, everything was remote. It didn't have like that. It was still
Loses
cool.
something,
Yeah.
It was still cool to like watch it, but at the same time, it was just kind of like it wasn't the same feel of like having them there like at the same time. You know, like
Yeah.
the Dustin Dolan one. Like think about if Dustin Dolan couldn't have been there sitting at the table like
Yeah.
in person with all of
Right.
them. Like
Yeah.
his episode was
That was insane.
crazy. So I don't know. I kind of like fell off of it for a second and got busy and just didn't watch it. But I've been watching some of the recent ones. They're good.
Hey, catch
I
back
like
up.
I like all those guys.
The Andy Anderson one was really good. That
Ex-
one's pretty cool.
Except I clown on what's that guy's name? He's the S guy. Like he makes like S shoes. Or he's like he doesn't make them, but he's like maybe like a brand manager.
Is
or
he on the
like
main
used
show,
to,
or is he on
used to
the-
skate for him. They give him a button. He's not
Yeah,
allowed
yeah,
to talk unless he hits the button.
Oh, yeah, he's the regular. I
can't think of his name.
It
Yeah.
starts with a K. It's like Kevin or like
I know who you're talking about,
Kenny or like something like that. I don't know. People would know about it. I wish I had somebody that could just be like, boom, I know what it is. But nah, I clown him a little bit.
Really?
He's a little bit of a clown. Dude, they give him a button.
It's cool though.
No,
That's
dude.
cool.
No, he has to hit the button. Everybody else can just like talk into the mic
Yeah.
whenever they want, you know? And like this guy's got a button.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Make him shut up.
If you never listened to it, Bronze 56K, it's a company. It's a skateboard brand. They make these mixtape, like radio mixtape, like playlists on SoundCloud. You can just like type in and search Bronze 56K, and there's like a ton of them, like month by month. Sometimes they'll skip a month, but yeah, they clown on that guy too, and it's so funny. They make their own commercials, like radio commercials, like about all kinds of stuff, cream cheese. Like I don't know, you guys should check it out. It's kind of funny, and it's all different kinds of music. Like it's
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, Hunter,
Skating.
thanks for coming to hang, man.
Yeah,
This is
no,
cool.
thanks for having me.
What you been up to lately?
I mean, other than work, you know, I try to stay pretty active most times.
I see you skateboarding and stuff all over town.
Yeah. I usually try as much as I can, like during the week and on the weekends. I'm usually done with work at like 5 during the week, and then like I have like Saturdays and Sundays most times, like at least during the day, because I work the door at shoe shops sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Never seen you up there. That's cool.
Adiba's a good friend of mine, and she needed somebody, and like I started working, I guess like it would have been like a month or two ago maybe, and then like I took some time off, and then I came back, and so I've been there the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm like in and out. Sometimes I work the door at shoe on the weekends, but
I saw you skating up at the Ghetto Banks. Have they started tearing that down yet?
It's all fenced up.
So
saw a news article
I haven't
about
been up there I guess in like probably 2 weeks or something, but everything is fenced off. there's like one area that you can get there from. It's yeah, I'll just give it out in case it is still there, and any skater that's out there wants to go skate it before they destroy it. You can park your car like in that little side area of the nick, like on the right side of it, and then you can just walk down that road, and there's like an area of it that's not gated off. It takes you right to where Ghetto Banks is at. And there's another spot in there that like a bunch of people recently found. It's like it's
kind of like in the
like
center.
It's like like in the center. It's like a
where
bump.
You normally wouldn't go.
Yeah, it's like a bump to flat over like a bar. So it's like pretty cool too, and that's still there. But I haven't been in probably like 2 weeks or something like that. But when I was over there, like it's still there, but they're gonna get rid of it soon for sure.
Tear it down.
But
Jason, the all hands guy, represent. He said that they might have an actual like a small recreation of it at the new skate park.
Yeah. So
have you heard that?
So a friend of mine, my friend Eric Braun, and one of his homies that he was cool with in college. He went to Ole Miss, and then that guy moved to Atlanta. We met him in Noonan, Georgia, where the same company that's building our park just built a park in Noonan, Georgia. And
New Line skate parks or something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've been to Noonan, but it's kind of like a smallish town, but like on the rise. Like it's got like some stuff out there, like right outside of like Peachtree City, Georgia, which is it's like 30 or 45 minutes like right outside of Atlanta. And that park is insane. Like,
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They built a replica of like the AT&T like bricked wall ledges that are out in Atlanta at like the AT&T building. They built like a replica of that like in the center, like on one side of the park, like in the center, and then like they built a bunch of different stuff all over the place in the middle. On one side there's like a pump track. Like it's like a super super cool park. And so Eric and I ended up talking to the guy that's like the head of working on the one that we're going to have here. And he was
really?
like, yeah, he was like, you guys think this is wild? Like, wait till you see the one we're building in Birmingham. He was like, he said something like, and I don't remember because I'm like really bad about remembering things, but I think he said that one's like 38,000 square feet or something like that. Maybe he meant something else, I don't know, but he was like, this is like 38,000 square feet, like y'all's is like 58,000.
Yeah, I've heard
feet.
60,000 is the number they've been throwing
like,
out.
it's like double that, double that, So like, and he told us when we were talking to him that day, because we told him that they were shutting down Ghetto Banks. They're going to demolish the whole thing. He was like, we went up there, we took pictures, we got measurements, we did everything, and we're going to like build a replica of Ghetto Banks at the new park under the bridge.
Wow,
so that
dude.
it's like for sure confirmed that they're building that like somewhere in the park.
Well, Jason was right on then. He told me that, and I was like, okay, all right.
I know a couple people want to like, figure out the day that it like gets demolished and like go get a piece of it or something.
Yeah, Jason said the same thing.
Yeah, I'd like to have like a little piece of that spot. I mean, it's cool, man. Like, I mean, I know a bunch of other people in Birmingham did like learn and transition like on those little ramps,
It's a steep transition
and it's a steep transition, That's why like a lot of these dudes out here like they rip it because they learned on it too, like and it's just like a legendary spot. It's been in like so many videos that so many people know, and just to see it go down like that, and not even just that, it's like that area is like so popular now, and so they took that whole area and they were just like, sorry everybody, all those people that lived in those projects like where the Ghetto Banks is, like they just said sorry, like see you later, like kicked you out, like Good Neighbor was at the Magnolia spot. They ended up having to leave out of there for like, issues, one with the building, like it was just old, But then also like, the guy that told him he would never sell sold. And so like, who knows what they're going to do to that area. It's probably going to be a bunch of shit we don't need. Mm-hmm. But, I guess that's just how the world works, tear down the parts of it you don't like and then put some nice, fancy stuff that none of us need anyway up there. So
money talks, man. I guess that's the way it goes.
Yeah, that is the world we live in. But, whatever.
I know you went to, how was Sloths? So we're a couple of weeks removed from Sloths Fest. It's kind of an old topic, but.
Oh, you mean Furnace Fest?
Or Furnace Fest.
Don't get it mixed up with Sloths Fest.
Sloths Fest.
Don't you dare.
Sloths Fest RIP.
I only went one day because there was only, to me, 1 day worth of bands that were worth spending the amount of money that I spent on a single day ticket.
Which was?
To see.
What day did you go?
I went on Sunday.
Okay.
So Sunday, like everybody there was like, Sunday is the hardcore day. Mm-hmm. Like any hardcore band, like, I mean, other than like Terror, I guess, and there's probably a couple others. Like, I mean, I would put Evergreen Terrace like in that same category. I mean, I'm sure there's a few other bands that played like different days that weren't on that day because they just probably couldn't do it. I don't know. But Sunday was basically like the hardcore day. And so Turnstile ended up having their time moved because...
What? Yeah, who dropped out?
Andrew WK.
Andrew WK dropped out.
And I don't know why he dropped out. And it was literally a day... or maybe even 2 days before he played, like the first day of.
Yeah,
I feel like I feel like when he dropped, the first day of Furnace Fest had already happened. So he dropped on Saturday, and then all of us found out about the time change for Turnstile on Saturday night. So he dropped on a Friday, and I don't know why, but I have my thoughts on it.
Okay.
And my thoughts are this: one, it's COVID related.
Okay.
I think that's probably what everybody thought. It's like, it's got to be COVID related.
It could be COVID related. One, in a sense that like maybe a person in his party or like his team, that goes on these tours or goes to these shows with him ended up getting it and they had to cancel. Or it could even be too, because like, I thought about it while I was there too. He might have just been scared, all those people like in that one place, vax cards or not, dude. People are faking vax cards. Like, people are just not getting vaccinated at all. And they're, taking COVID tests that you do or you do not know if the results are like 100% or not, so like I could see him or somebody on his team or multiple people on his team being scared to like go out to a festival like that and do that.
Yeah, it was sold out all 3 days, right?
The 3-day tickets were sold out, but you could still buy single day tickets.
Oh, okay.
But you would have to buy a single day ticket with fees for each day, so way more expensive than a 3-day pass.
Yeah.
So, those are two. My third is this, the X Beer X.
The X Beer X.
The trim tab beer that they made.
The Furnace Fest beer? Why?
Okay, let's talk about it.
Was that like a controversy or something?
Nothing against Trim Tab. I am there so much. My friends work there. I love everybody there. I don't know who came up with the name of this.
X Beer X.
They named a beer. They named a beer X Beer X to be funny and punny, because you put X at the beginning and end of anything in this culture of folks. That means it's straight edge. Straight edge people don't drink beer. So you named a beer
straight edge beer
X Beer X, and it has alcohol in it.
So it's like a direct slap in the face.
I'm not straight edge. A lot of my friends are straight edge. My band members in 2 of the different bands that I play in are straight edge. They still hang out with me when I drink and hang out or whatever, but like, I have enough respect for them because that's the lifestyle they've chosen. Like, that's their thing. It means a lot to them, So to that community of people, it's kind of a slap in the face. I mean, it's just like you're making fun of something that we live our lives by. Like, we do not drink, we do not smoke, we do not participate in any sort of drugs. Like, we do these things not just for our health because we know that but like something happened to them in their life that they saw more than likely hardcore related, but other people are like that for other reasons that move them to that lifestyle choice. They had already been living that lifestyle choice if they were younger, and now that is how they live their life. It means a lot to them. So it's a bit of a slap in the face to make a beer and name it X Beer X, kind of just being funny about this subculture that may not be important to them, but is important to other people.
Is Andrew WK straight edge?
Andrew WK is straight edge, and that is my point, is that they put an Andrew WK quote on the X Beer X can.
Oh, I didn't
Now,
know
what do you
that.
mean the quote?
There's a quote either from a song or something that Andrew WK
Where
said
he says that line.
that it is quoted. Whatever he said, I drank one at Trim Tab,
But not the name.
But
Experience.
I didn't
It
see
was
the
something
can,
else.
but on the can that they sold at Furnace Fest, because when I got there on Sunday, they were gone.
Really?
Yeah, they were gone. You couldn't get them because they were gone within the first 2 days. They only canned so many,
Yeah.
and then they have kegs of other ones that they
Can you
sell
pull
in
a
there.
picture up of that? I think if you go to Furnace
Dude, it's
Fest
definitely on Furnace Fest Instagram. But on that can, there is in quotations a direct quote from Andrew WK with the asterisks and Andrew WK written underneath it. If he is in any way, shape, or form connected to straight edge in the way that other people that I know are, and they didn't approach him or ask him about it, and they just did it, I wouldn't want to play the fest either. So, that's, but who knows, only the guys that did it know. So,
Now I'm curious about the quote that's on the thing. Yeah, keep
I don't know
scrolling down.
what it says. You'd have to get a good, I don't even know if the thing on,
So there's
there
the
it
can.
is. Yeah.
Click on it. So it's rotating.
That's the can. It rotates, and then somewhere on there,
You think it's on
there's
the back?
Oh, that font.
There is a.
We'll never be
the
able to
boom.
read.
There it is, right there, right there.
All right,
It's on
hold
the
on.
side of the can. It's sideways.
Right there?
No, right there. You see where it says Andrew WK right underneath it? There's a quote.
Oh,
of
so
his
you don't know
right
if they got
underneath it.
approval to do.
Yeah,
Party foul.
who knows?
Way
Who
to
knows if they got approval for that or not? I don't know. Somebody could have just picked an Andrew WK quote and put it on there, and that person may or may not have known if Andrew WK
Surely
was
they
even
would.
straight edge. But
Furnace
I mean,
Fest,
come on,
surely
dude.
they would've.
He's like the biggest name in a subgenre of music and a straight edge guy. He's like kind of famous, like everyone. It doesn't matter like what kind of music you listen to. I know a lot of people who know who Andrew WK is.
Oh,
like,
sure, yeah.
and that he's straight edge, and so like you could have named it anything else. You could have called it any other thing. You could have done anything else with it. Instead, you kind of poked fun at like a culture of people that like live their
Interesting.
life by a certain way, and
Yeah.
probably maybe most of my straight edge friends, they just laughed at it. They think it's
I was about to say, did you have any friends
Yeah.
that share this sentiment?
I mean, but they think it's stupid. They're like, that's so dumb, like that's so dumb to just like name that, and like and put a quote from a straight edge guy on there, and like it clearly says on the can that there's alcohol in it. It's stupid, but I mean, at the end of the day, we all laugh at it. I drank one. And then
So you weren't that offended.
like the week
I
after,
mean,
yeah.
beer is beer,
I
but-
go to there's like one day a week at least where like right after I'm done with work, I'll like go to Trim Tab for a beer. Like if my homie, shout out Will Norris, is working there, and I want to go and like hang out with him for a little bit while he's working. He wasn't there that day, but I was taking my friend out for like a beer or two after work, and they had it there. So I told Lacey, I was like, yo, I'm going to order one of these. I'm going to buy it, but I'm going to pour this one outside. And like, then I'm going to order another one and try it. And she's like, why? I was like, for my straight edge homies. Yeah. So I posted it on my Instagram
Poured
story.
one out,
Like poured one
for the
out for the homies, dude. And tagged some of there were some of them that I missed, but like, yeah, poured it out for them. And they were like, hell yeah, dude. That's awesome.
That's
That's
cool. I
pretty
didn't
sick.
I didn't know that was the controversy behind the beer can.
Yeah,
That's
there's
pretty wild.
there's a couple of Furnace Fest
So they
controversies.
so they
to be
pushed
honest.
turnstile, or they changed turnstile
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So Andrew WK dropped, and so I think Turnstile was supposed to play at like 5 or between 5 and 5:30 or something like that, and then of course like Knocked Loose was playing later in the night, but with that drop, they moved Turnstile into Andrew WK's spot, which was like that 9 o'clock spot. So it was literally just like underneath that shed stage. It was like so many bands, like Comeback Kid played under there. Like, there's other bands I can't even remember, because I was like, there were other times I was walking around, like when I first got there. My homie Stone Creole, which honestly most of those dudes in that band Meadows, they opened on Sunday, so like I had to go support them and like see them. And then this band Dying Wish played after them, female fronted hardcore band. They're like hard, they're awesome.
Really?
Like, oh yeah, dude, that like they killed it, and they were added on last minute, and like they were awesome. And then just bopping around, like went to go see the guys in Era, because I love those guys too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then the rest of the time it was just like hardcore fest on Sunday. And yeah, there was Turnstile got moved, so everybody waited around. Knocked Loose played like, I guess would have been like right before them. I'm bad with like remembering the whole thing, because it all kind of runs together when you've seen so many bands in one day.
Oh yeah.
But Knocked Loose played. It was insane. There was drama there with the security.
I heard about
Really?
that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, a homie of mine like sent me like the thing from it, and it was something about.
What, didn't one of the band members get in the crowd or
So-
something,
so
and they couldn't get back on the stage?
He
or
was
something like
doing
that?
a song with the vocalist of the band. Dang, why can't I think of their name right now? I don't know.
With another band.
Yeah,
That was just in the audience.
Yeah. Well, he was hanging out,
Okay.
because like that, like especially at like the hardcore shows, like the homies that come in to see their homies, they like kind of hang out on the side stage or like in the backstage, and they're all like kind of on the stage like with them while they're playing. So like this guy was there because his other band Misery Signals was supposed to play, and they didn't end up playing. But he also plays in another band that I can't think of the name of right now. But he's the vocalist for that band too. So he was doing vocals on a song with Knocked Loose, one of their songs. And the guy that does vocals for Knocked Loose, I think his name is Brian, jumped off the stage into the crowd of people, stage dove and like crowd surfed. And people had been doing that all day. The at the shed stage, the barrier was really close to the stage, whereas all the other ones, they were like a good distance away from. So people were doing it all day. So I guess what happened, from what I understand, is like, and it was weird too, like they had police officers down there with like guns and stuff.
What?
Like, yeah, there was like,
I guess police officers
like they
always
were
carry
like
guns.
side stage, or like they were in that little like area between like the stage and like the guardrail, like between all the people, on top of like having the security too. And like I don't remember seeing that all day, but like Knocked Loose comes on, and all of a sudden there's these dudes here. So I thought that was kind of weird. But it's either a security guard or the cop like was like, I guess one of his friends was trying to help him like get out of the crowd and pull him onto the stage quicker so he could keep performing. And the friend got in the cop or the security guard's way or whatever, didn't like that he was like trying to grab this guy out of here. And so he grabbed him, put him in a chokehold, and just like slammed him onto the ground. And that's where like there's a video somewhere on Twitter of like, you see one of the guys that's like hanging out side stage with the dudes from Knocked Loose just runs and is like running on top of people, like running on top of their heads to like grab whoever this guy is that's like did this to their friend. And then you see the bass player from the band, like they stop in the middle of the song, like pull the bass guitar off of his neck, and he's holding that thing like a war hammer. Like, and it was just like, it was a big debacle ordeal. But like, again, something that doesn't really surprise me. It's like you put police officers and security guards in something that could easily be self-enforced by people that like, I can't tell you how many shows I've been to in my life, how many like I've been to hardcore festivals like FYA in Tampa where there's no security whatsoever, dude. It's like hardcore festivals like that, especially with bands like that, people take care of each other. People do get hurt, yes, but like it's better to have situations like that self-policed by people who are involved, who understand things and aren't going to get aggro and go crazy. Because like, think about how many of those security guards or those police officers that were there that night that had never seen anything like that in their life. So they see people jumping off stage and jumping on top of each other and people swinging their arms around and people getting hit and all kinds of crazy stuff. And like, they're probably
savages.
like, what the heck is going on, you know? So they're on like high alert and like aggro already, you know? Whereas like somebody who's been there and done that is like going to be calm, you know? And like take care of a situation and make sure nobody gets hurt or nobody gets offended or nothing bad happens. And like, that's like a little bit of my beef and qualm with that part of it. Cause you know, Knocked Loose had to like stop for a second. That put into their playtime. They had to like, they had to play, you know, maybe one less song or something like that, you know, cause like all that happened. And it's like, that also puts a bad taste in that band's mouth. Everybody connected to them, like, which is not good for Birmingham. Cause like up until now, after COVID, like, it was hard to get a show here. You got to go to Nashville or you got to go to Atlanta if you want to see something you really want to see. And every once in a while, we'll get something good like sprinkled in here. But other than that, people don't come here. And it's like the more situations that happen like that is going to prevent people from wanting to come here and like play shows here, you know, because they're worried about stuff like that. So I don't know. I had a bunch of beef with it. I talked about it on Instagram. I tagged Johnny Grimes. I listened to y'all's episode of that podcast, and like I just didn't like a lot of things that he had to say about the hardcore community.
Such as?
Basically is like somebody, me and a multitude of a couple other people that I've talked to have never seen this guy before. We don't know who he is. He's a part of Furnace Fest. He owns some hair salon. That's all I know. I never seen this guy at a show before. I don't even think or remember as a kid, like, which I kind of came in like later, like in the mid 2000s, but I don't really remember seeing him then. And it's like he kind of came on here and like spoke about something that, you know, he's not currently, or like to my knowledge, in my lifetime of being in it, which is a long time since I was like, you know, 14 to now, still passionate about it, still going to shows. Things are still happening, you know. And he just kind of came off and spoke as if he knew about how things are now, and it
like
was
the
like
current situation.
Yeah.
And he's definitely an older guy. I mean,
and I mean, just looking at it as like,
age,
I mean, hey, like when I was younger, you know, I remember going to see Have Heart, which at that time was like my favorite band. Their final tour at Matthews Bar and Grill, right after Cave 9 got shut down. Their final tour before they were done, calling it quits. And this dude that I was friends with, that I know, like Aaron, I cannot remember his last name. I don't know if he listens to this. I don't know if he even lives here anymore, but shout out Aaron. He was a super nice guy. He was huge. He always stuck up for me in like weird situations. Like he was a nice guy, like very much respect for him. Punched my lights out. First song Have Heart played. Punched my lights out. Picked me up afterwards. He was like, sorry, I was just feeling it.
Knocked
and
you
it's
out.
like, this guy is my friend, you know? And it's like, well, don't stand around that area anymore, or that kind of thing could happen, you know? It has its violent tendencies, and it has its like
But you take it one or two ways. You're like, okay, shit happens, or you get pissed off by it and you hold a grudge and you start fighting.
And some people do. But most times, especially now, you know, it's more understanding. People know. They're like, if I'm in this area, this is going to happen. And they're either going to jump in or they're just going to sit there and be along for the ride. That genre of music specifically, like, gives people a feeling. And it's like something that, I don't know, I mean, think of like your favorite music, you know, like, and how that makes you feel. And to me, hardcore is the same way, you know, and like the moshing, the stage diving, the crowd surfing, the, you know, all of it is like, it's a way for all these people to feel the same way they feel about the music and get out how they feel. And it's like free for everybody to do it. It doesn't matter, you know, the color of your skin or your affiliations with these people or that people, or like what you do for a living, or like any of that. It's all in one place, and it's all a place for you to be able to do whatever you feel, you know, and it's still happening. And it's like, when he said the things that he said, there were.
Well, specifically remind me, because I mean, I've watched the episode.
He kind of just said some stuff about how it's like jockey violent dudes running around, punching each other, punching other people, like no respect for, and I'd be stupid to say that there isn't some people around that are like that, but it's like, that's their way of getting it out, Mine is different than theirs. And it's like, at the end of the day, like, if they're doing something bad enough, self-policing, they'll get out. Yeah. Somebody will get them out. If it's bad enough, nobody's going to let anybody, like, get torn up or, like, nothing bad ever happen to anybody. It'll always, like, fix itself, But, like, a lot of it is not that. A lot of it's, like, love. Everybody in the scene loves each other, And it's, like, it's an age group of a bunch of, like, different people, that come from different backgrounds and do different things. And like, I like listened to that and I thought of myself as a person who might be into that genre of music, who's never been out to a show or seen anything like that. And then they would hear something like that and it would draw them away from coming and seeing it. I want everyone there. Yeah. I want everyone there.
Well, I think in his defense, I don't remember specifically him saying that. And I should, because I watched the episode like 5 times editing it. But I think his heart's in it as well.
Yeah.
And Johnny is a great guy.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm sure.
I mean, obviously he loves it enough to spend his heart and soul putting on this festival. So.
And it's all love. Like I said, I told you guys from the beginning, like I'm somebody with like opinions, and I'm not afraid to voice how I feel about things, no, especially with like hardcore, something that I'm super passionate about. It's like I just want my part of it to be heard, that like it's still out here, people are still doing it. There's like a ton of talented bands out here that are not just in just the hardcore genre. Like there's all kinds of like different bands that are like locally that are like all kind of involved in like this one kind of community, and like they deserve some shine, and that's like we've been kind of talking about the Furnace Fest thing. That's a lot of like me and a few of the other people in the community that play actively in these bands. We're still out here playing, we're still out here doing this, and a lot of us like went to one or a few or all of the days of Furnace Fest. And I'm not speaking specifically for them, but I'm speaking specifically for me as a person who's a part of bands and is still actively playing. It was a fun time. It was great. It was good to see everybody like having a great time. That part of it is all awesome. The part that's hard to deal with is something of this magnitude coming into your city and drawing this amount of people, and you had no local active like playing in this city all of the time bands being able to even have the chance to play it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it's like, like I said, shout out to my homies in Era, shout out to my homies in Meadows. Those dudes are signed. Those dudes are doing their thing. Those guys are like out there ripping and like living their lives. They're doing the stuff that a lot of us wish we were doing, Mm-hmm. It just hasn't come to that. It hasn't come to that for us yet. It came that way for them. They put in the work and they worked hard and they got there. We're still trying to get there. When something like that, of that magnitude, comes into your city and you're looking at thousands of people watching all these bands, and there's not even like a small stage, So, I mean, if you think about it, I don't know if y'all went to any.
I didn't go, so I didn't
know if
see the layout. He kind of told me what the layout was going to be. And,
yeah.
I know there were multiple stages, mm-hmm. and I assume some were smaller than the others.
Mm-hmm. And that was the case, but I don't know if either of you went to Sloths Fest any of the years, but there was a year.
We did go to Sloths
Fest. Where there was a Seasick record stage.
Was there a Seasick record stage the year we went?
Where local bands were playing on this stage. Null played. And I went and watched Null, like at Sloths Fest, with a lot of other people that skipped out on a lot of other bands to watch this one
More
band.
Exposure for the local scene.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, and it puts like, where there's the Furnace Fest Instagram, that's exposure enough right there, before the fest even happens. There's a flyer with pictures of the dudes, the names of their bands, like, you can listen to them wherever, and like that's enough exposure right before the thing even happens. So it's like, one, I'm happy about the fest because I did go one day and I had a good time. and it was nice to see everybody around me having a good time. My only thing, like my only advice as a person who is like currently and has been like active in the Birmingham hardcore scene, like, and that's not just hardcore. I'll go to a death metal show every once in a while. Like, I'll go to a metalcore show, even though I hate it. I'll go sometimes, you know, like, dude, there are homies that play in bands that I don't like their music, but I like them. So I'm there to support them, you know, like it's a thing. So like, my only thing would be like, if you're going to do this thing next year, like, don't make it like just some like nostalgia thing, because, you know, like there's a lot of kids that like have never heard of Converge.
Right.
You know, I love Converge, but there's a lot of people that have never heard of it.
Well, maybe if they do it again, we teased that. We were like, are you going to have a second year of this? And he's like, well, we'll see how this year goes. It may just be a one-off thing.
Yeah.
And the whole idea behind
which
it
would be
was
tight. I think that would be tight.
But maybe if they do it again
thing.
next year, they have more local acts.
But yeah, if they come next year, you know, like reach out to some of us, you know, like.
Speaking of which, you say you play in 2 bands.
Yeah.
I've been listening to, and you can't bring me up to speed on Forced Neglect. Forced Neglect. A lot of really rad music online I've been listening to the past couple of days. What's the story with you joining the band?
Yeah.
And
that
weird. Whole deal. Yeah. Because I've seen a couple of videos and stuff online of you playing at the Seasick, and I think you guys had a show at Saturn. Have you played any other shows?
We don't have anything currently right now. I think there's like something in Atlanta, like in December maybe, and then like.
But just the 2 shows.
Yeah, but just those. Yeah, just those 2, like pre like COVID stuff.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a weird thing. I've always been involved with the band. All those dudes are all my friends, and the original vocalist John was in the band.
Yeah.
And some things just kind of happened, and they got, you know, they told him he couldn't be in the band anymore, and Cam decided to leave guitar and take over for the vocals and find someone else to play guitar for the live stuff. And he recorded those 2 EPs that are on all the streaming sites.
One is what's the name of it?
One is called Need to Feed, and the other one, I believe, I'm such a bad bandmate. Like,
it's like fancy.
Yeah,
I was just looking
Poison of the Fang.
Poison of the Fang. Okay.
Yeah,
because there's a song with the same title.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So both of those.
So that's
EPs
the guitarist that's actually
that
singing.
Is the guitarist singing on those EPs. Okay. So those are him.
Those are rad, man.
They played some shows after those 2 came out. You know, pre-COVID, and then you know, COVID happened, everything was inactive, and then post-COVID happens, and basically what kind of happened was Gate Creeper was coming to Birmingham, and they were going to play at Seasick, and I guess for this tour, like the guys from Gate Creeper were like listening to local acts in the towns that they were playing in, so that they could find the ones that like they would want to play with. Like we would want to play with these bands if we were to add locals to the band, like to the bill. And so one of the guys from Gate Creeper was like, we want Forced Neglect, we want Writhing Shadows. And there was one other project that Cam is also involved in. So it's 3 different projects that Cam is all involved in some way.
Yeah, Cam's killing it. He's like in all kinds of stuff.
He's in more things that I could even tell you. The guy is now like, he actually works with me, like directly next to me every single day. The guy is like a hard worker. He's got his own like, sort of like death metal record label that he just started. He just signed a band from another country, like is putting their stuff out on tape. Like Writhing Shadows, his death metal band, is doing very good. They're signed to like a prominent death metal record label called Gurgling Gore. A couple of his other projects are also signed to the same label. You know, Forced Neglect, like it was basically these 3 bands, and so, you know, Forced Neglect was like a duh, you know, because, you know, a lot of people have been listening to Forced Neglect over the years, even with all the changes. So it was, you know, pretty much a no-brainer. And then Writhing Shadows basically being like Cam's like baby. It was like, of course, like we're going to play this. Well, it would have been making a decision for him to do vocals for 2 bands back to back, which would have been a lot.
Yeah.
So he came to me and he asked me, and he was like, do you want to do vocals? And I haven't done vocals in a band since I was in high school. I did vocals in a band called Take to the Skies back in the day.
What?
Yeah.
You did vocals for Take to the Skies?
Yeah, it was pre-David, and
I know David.
pre other guy from the band that was Era, but is not Era. I can't remember their name. But yeah, I was the original vocalist of that band. So I hadn't done vocals in a band for a long time. I'd been itching to do it, and it worked out. And so I did vocals for that show. The show was like a huge success. Like it was really, really good. And Chase, my boss, he plays in Bulging and a couple other projects, and they were getting ready to play next week at Saturn for a free show. And he was like, you guys want to play? And it was just us two. And like, we played that one and it was like pretty good too. So, basically what it is, like there's some new Force stuff that's in the works. It's gonna end up being me, like we're gonna,
that was my question. Are you like the permanent fixture?
So we're gonna record this new stuff, and we're gonna make a sound that like sounds right for us, with me as vocals, with the music still being like a thrash hardcore crossover type of band, and like hopefully soon like we can put it out. But as of right now, it's just like playing as many shows as we can, like making sure we're playing good ones, and like just keeping it relevant, like, and I'm stoked on it because I really enjoy the music. I always have. And
well, dude, I was jamming out. I looked at the poster, and then I saw the Bulging thing, and looked them up. And it's so funny that their Instagram handle is Awkward Bulging, because it's like, you can imagine what you get when you search Bulging on Instagram. So I don't know. I just wanted to make a point of that. It's really funny.
Yep. And their music's like super hard, but it's like ambient, like
it's like a slower feel
I was like
to
stoked.
it.
I was like stoked to play with them, because you get like you get like the in your face like energy, for the first band, and then the second band comes in and it's like still got that like that same kind of like hard, feeling to it, but it's a little more relaxed and like, a little more intricate and like different. So it like gave everybody kind of like different sides of the spectrum, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
So
I feel that.
But they were a lot of fun. I hope we have a couple more shows like coming up soon. And then the other band that I play in is Just Like Heaven. It's basically like a shoegaze band.
You're not doing vocals.
I'm playing bass in that. Bass in that. It's Stone Creel from Meadows is playing drums. Tanner Masters, who plays bass, and Force Neglect is playing guitar. Cam Smith, who played in Catabasis and he played in Meadows at one time, is playing guitar. And then Cam White will be doing vocals, and it's all of that stuff is like all over any platform you could think of. There was a time before COVID where one of our songs was on the radio, and like we're on a few Spotify like curated playlists and stuff, and so it's been going pretty well. But with COVID, like we never got the EP release show we wanted. We had a tour booked with a band from Texas for like all the Southeast dates that was supposed to happen in August of 2020 that ended up getting canceled. It was on a huge roll, and then it kind of stopped, but we've been practicing. We've been getting like the show like super tight, so when we play, everything will be like really tight. And we're playing a show in November. It'll be the second week of November. At Seasick. It's our EP release show, the one we never got.
Sweet. All right.
With Faux Deep, which is a homie of mine, Sam Eastman's band. And then another band from Birmingham. It's some of these younger guys that have, come into the hardcore community recently, and they have their own kind of like hardcore band called Apprehend. And a lot of their shows are like super wild, and they're like super into it. I love seeing it because like they're new, they're college kids, like they're hanging out, they're chilling on the porch, they're like doing their college thing and like working their jobs on the side and making hardcore music and coming to shows,
badass.
And so it's like cool to see like that, these dudes are like the future of like what the music scene for that genre or the subgenres around it is going to look like. So obviously we had to put them on the show, and it's a 3-person show, and I'm pretty sure it's fairly cheap, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Dude,
Seasick is like a fun place to play.
I've never seen a show there.
Yeah, it's that Gate Creeper show was really fun. It sounds great.
Y'all were on like when you walk in the doors, that was the stage facing into the building.
Yeah.
Right?
So the stage faces into the building, so you're basically playing away from the glass window in the very front.
Is that on purpose or just to mix it up? Because usually they have shows in the back facing forward. Right?
It just seems like it makes sense because it's a place for them to move all of the record stands like out of the way, so that there's a bigger space in front of it. For them to, for people to be able to move around and stuff. I mean, They had Gate Creeper there. They've got a couple, they've got a hardcore band called Military Gun that's going to be playing there.
Yeah, Hayden texted me. He said there's a shoegaze band coming. He's like, we got to go.
Yeah,
like, right.
yeah. So, they plan on doing a bunch of shows, and I'm stoked on it. So, I've been going to a lot of shows lately. They've been super chill. They're good. It's nice to see live music again. It's nice to see everybody out, enjoying themselves. Speaking
cool to get back in Saturday.
Yeah. So. Speaking of shows, I was at Zydeco the night POD played when.
Oh man, how was that?
I heard about that.
Yeah. It's a wild story, and I can tell it to you if you want to hear it.
Yes, I do.
POD. Yeah, that was a wild night. So.
POD, man, dude. They're still kicking. Still kicking.
Man. They're up there with Sublime.
Well,
Dad, this was like the 10 or 20 year anniversary for Satellite, the first record that came out. You ever seen Grind, the movie, the skateboard movie Grind, where they're battling on the half pipe, him and the guy that's what's up, fool? That POD song, boom.
But that album had been out before Grind.
Oh, way before.
Way before.
They were super popular back then, but yeah, it was the 20-year anniversary for that show. So I was I'd talked to David because David booked the show, and I talked to David, and I was like, "Yo, dude, I'm trying to go, man." He was like, "Let's go, dude. I'll be there." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I met up with David for dinner, and then we went to the show.
Who's David?
David Jones.
David Jones.
Reaction Media.
He does all the booking for Zydeco.
Okay.
For since I was a teenager.
Yeah. I mean, that dude has been my homie for 10 years, and he's been the one that books shows all over the place in Birmingham.
Cool.
But I mean, he's in Nashville now, so he's booking shows in Nashville, he's booking shows in Atlanta, he's booking shows in Memphis. He's doing good. So we go to the show, and I get there right when POD is going on, and it's perfect because they play the only 4 or 5 songs that I know from that album, and then the rest of them are ones I don't know anything about. And so me and 2 of my friends that I went with, we dip out, but we're just chilling on the patio area at Zydeco. So I see this commotion happening in the street, because you can see the street in front of Zydeco from the patio. And there's this guy, he's beat up, and he's on the ground, but he's you can tell he's belligerently drunk, crazy drunk. And the cops are there, the ambulance is there, the fire truck is there, all this stuff is going on. They're trying to talk to this guy. And then all of a sudden, this older gentleman, I see him walking through the show. He kind of looks sketchy to me the whole time, but he comes walking out, and he goes down there and he starts talking to the cops. And then all of a sudden, they just pick this dude up off the ground that looks like he'd just gotten beaten up or whatever. And they let him leave in the car with this old guy that was talking to the cops. So the cops leave, the fire truck leaves, the ambulance leaves, and then they leave, and we're still on the patio just hanging out.
Watching it play out.
Yeah, it was crazy because my friends, they went to the bathroom, and they came up and were on the patio 45 seconds, literally 45 seconds to a minute before all this happened. So I remember standing, and I was looking where I could see the street to the entrance, and all of a sudden I just see this car hop up onto the sidewalk going 35, maybe 40 miles an hour, just boom, into the guardrail, into the security guard stand, through the building, through the glass, like into the building. Everybody's freaking out.
Into Zydeco?
Yeah, into Zydeco, into
Like
the bottom,
crashed
into the bottom,
into
like
Zydeco.
crashed
The bottom bar?
into it. Yeah, like right where, like, so anybody who's from here and has been to Zydeco knows the entrance. It's like there's like the glass in front of the building, and then like right here there's like a security guard stand with like, and if it's a big show, there's like a guardrail that like kind of goes around it to like keep people in a line. And then and then you can come in and you can go up the stairs, or you can go back behind you and go into that back bar.
Right.
He came in right where the security guard stand and those barricades are, and then went straight through the glass and straight through the building, like into the inside. Okay, so a lot of people thought that it was the guy that got kicked out of Zydeco that ran the car in there, but it was the guy that they let him get in the car with that ran the car into the building.
Oh my God.
So there was a ton of stuff I didn't know. A ton of people are freaking out. I remember walking downstairs and seeing like, I don't know what happened to the security guard that was at the security stand, but according to what I think may have happened, it is just what I think happened. I don't know what actually happened, but I think this guy was like super belligerent, like extremely drunk, like, and acting crazy. And then the guy at the door asked him to leave. He was walking out. He wouldn't leave. So the drunk guy tried to fight the security guard. The security guard defended himself in the way that he should. And then that's when, he left with that guy. The cops showed up. Then the cops let him leave with that guy, and then the car ran into the building.
Just like plow the car into the building.
Yeah. They basically were trying to kill the guy that was working the door that beat him up. Because another thing that, again, I don't know if this is confirmed, but the older guy that they let, the guy that got beat up, drove the car through the thing, that apparently is his dad. So his dad was probably on like some, you're going to beat my kid up, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to run my car into you and I'm going to kill you and I'm going to run my car in this building. So like, I remember walking downstairs and seeing one of the Zydeco security guards like with the gun like pointing it, because the guy that drove the car into the building was on the sidewalk in front of Zydeco, just sitting there with his arms crossed like this while people were like yelling at him and screaming at him and stuff. He looked unscathed. Nothing was wrong with him. Like he's just sitting there like a psycho, like looking at everybody while all that was happening. And then the security guard guy apparently like put his gun up, tackled him to the ground, and then the cops came, and then I don't know what happened after that, but like, yeah, dude.
Is
like,
the show still going on?
No way.
Clearly, when they crashed into the building.
I was at a point where like, so there was a younger guy. He was either like working the bar or working Zydeco that night, whatever, and they were trying to get people to, after that happened, the ones that were on the patio, get them to go up the stairs and go inside the venue where POD was playing. And like my anxiety was like going so crazy. I was like, look, man. And I was with two of my friends, and I was like, look, man, like you don't want me locked in there with these people. Like I can't do this. If you don't let me out, I'm going to jump that fence back there. But me and these two people, we need to leave right now. Like we need to go. I'm not going up there, and you're not going to make me stay up there. And so the guy like finally let us go out. But like, it was wild. Like one of the wildest things I've seen. Like, and it was, I saw it like on some like news article on like some alternative press type thing, like on that the next day, and like it was crazy.
And it crashes into building during POD concert.
Yeah, I know. Somebody, it's probably too soon for this, but dude, somebody took Boom, Here Comes the Boom, Ready or Not, Here Comes the Boys from the South way too literal.
I'm gonna time it just right.
Yeah. So
dude, that's insane.
Yep.
Brother.
So
well, besides getting playing music and almost getting killed at POD concerts, like you got some more tattoos since the last time I saw you. Since last time Zach saw you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The last time we had you on a podcast, you had just got your back outlined.
Yeah. So
shout out to the Mochi podcast, man. I listened to that this morning because it's kind of the first time I've ever sat down and talked with you and stuff. Yeah. And I was like trying to get a feel, and I knew you'd already done a podcast with him, with Zach and his buddies. Yeah, it was pretty good, man. It was like a 2-hour long podcast.
I was a little more wild than that one. I won't be taking my shirt off this time, but
it was good, man.
I mean, like, I'm always like hanging out at the shop with the Good Neighbor dudes. I basically like live there. I'm there a couple of times a week, like just hanging out. Those aren't just the dudes that tattoo me, like they're my homies too. So I hang out up there, and sometimes there's just like a day like somebody cancels on Jay, and I'm like, yo, you want to tattoo me and make some money?
Do something.
So like that'll happen, and then at like post COVID, like a lot of the guys that like travel are starting to get back out again, so they're getting a lot of like guest artists that I want to get tattooed by.
Dude, there was like a huge convention that just happened.
Yeah, it's something I knew nothing about until a week before it. I thought it was kind of weird.
That was wild. I saw Stay Gold was there. The dudes, Classic 13 was there.
There were only 2 shops from
like,
Birmingham there,
what?
and it was in our own city. That's kind of weird. I don't know who put that on or whatever, but I literally didn't know about it until like a week before, and I think it was like Rizzo had like made a post about it or something like that, and I was like, where are you doing a tattoo convention? He was like, it's a tattoo convention in Birmingham, and I was like, well, I haven't seen anything about it. And so you just sent me the Instagram page, and I just saw like all the posts and stuff. I thought it was so weird that
just
like
overnight.
There were like the only 2 shops that were there, which was like Stay Gold and Classic 13, which is cool. I'm glad the people that I like that work at those shops, they got to get in and make their money and do their thing. But thought it was kind of weird that like Good Neighbor's not there, or like Nonstop's not there. Or, that's a little like, I don't know, it's a little strange. So I didn't know anything about it until a week ago. I maybe it was successful. I don't know, but I don't know who put it on, but like that was a little weird.
Okay.
Yeah. But so Good Neighbors at Electra now, obviously.
Yeah, haven't been
cat's
over
out of the
there
bag.
Yep.
Finally happened.
Yep. They're at Electra now, and they're doing good. They're killing it. They recently got Drew, another guy up there.
Yeah, how big is their team now? Don't they have like they've added like 2 or 3 new guys?
Yeah. So the new guys are originally before it was Zach doing the piercings, and then it was Paul, Jay, and Ryan doing the tattoos up there.
Yeah.
So they added Drew when they moved to Magnolia. Drew was there towards the end of Magnolia, right before they moved to Electra. And so Drew's tattooing up there, and then another guy, David McCall, he's up there now too. He just moved here from Philly, so he's taken some tattoos from Thursday to Saturday, pretty much every week. So I just met him recently, like within the last month or so. He's a solid dude. He does some solid tattoos. He's like super cool. I hopefully get tattooed by him soon. He's giving me a bunch of like really cool flash, like from some folks that he knows. So like solid dude. And one of my homies that I sell vintage with actually just got tattooed by him, and it turned out really good. So
you mentioned that earlier. You're selling I see a lot of people doing that, selling like the vintage clothes. And stuff,
the weekend nacho tees.
Yeah. So
how'd you get into that?
So the basically what it was kind of like, I kind of was just like going through like eBay and like finding stuff like T-shirts and stuff that like I had like when I was a kid or something, like remember those old Dragon Ball Z shirts they used to sell at like Macy's, I had like a ton of those when I was a kid, and like just like like kind of looking into like it kind of just started as like a nostalgia thing for me, and then one day I came across like this like Instagram community where like they do Instagram lives, and they sell shirts through like Instagram live auctions. So one night I just got on one, and
try to sell one of these old Dragon Ball Z shirts.
I was like, what I did was I ended up selling like it was like an old like 2001 reboot of Hellraiser, the movie. It was a horror T-shirt. It's like a super cool shirt. So I was like, some guy was hosting like an open live where all you got to do is just request to be in the live, and then you can go in. And I ended up getting picked. So I put the shirt up for auction. It went up to $300 and it sold.
What?
So
dang, that's crazy.
So I saw the money in it, and that was kind of like what kind of like drew me into it. But then like what kept me staying in it is like I got really passionate about fashion and the vintage community, and like not only that but like vintage shirts, like you can tell the difference in like boots, like ones that are like reboots of shirts and like the real thing, and like single stitching as opposed to double stitching t-shirts, and like trademarking so that you know exactly like what year your shirt comes from, and like, you know, what each tag means. Like Nike's had so many tags throughout the years, like, you know, what tag is this year from, or like, you know, it just became like this big thing that I became passionate about. And I met some dudes through the mom's vintage markets that like, you know, that they've been, well, these dudes have been doing it for years. They do it as their, this isn't just a hobby for them. This is like their full-time job. Like this is how they make their money. And they've like really steered me in a position, because they see that, like, because with a lot of this kind of thing, especially the vintage thing, you see people come and go, because a lot of people really just get into it like for the money.
Quick cash,
They can see real quick that they can turn around and flip a t-shirt that they might have bought for whatever amount of money for like $400, and they can get a quick buck off of it, and they don't care about anything, any of the quality or like any of that, or, you know, whatever. They're just in it for the quick buck. But like, there are people out here that like are actually really passionate about it, and they like it. And like, there are also people out here that that's their full-time job. They don't do anything else other than that. So like, I met these guys, and they've like really steered me in this good direction to, you know, kind of keep it up. And like, I'm a collector, but at the end of the day, I'll also sell it. You know, it's worth what it's worth to me. It's worth what it's worth to, you know, out there in the world. And like, yeah, I love it. And you know, with the fashion thing too, like, you know, I have plans to like kind of start my own like kind of like clothing company thing. I kind of been talking to Tim about it a little bit, like just because you guys have been like printing out of there, and like I just have an idea for like a clothing company that I think would be dope. And I think would be cool for, you know, Birmingham at the end of the day, because it does represent Birmingham, like the city of Birmingham.
Well, when you have time between your two bands, working at shoe shop, just throw a little startup clothing company in the mix.
Yeah. So I'm always keeping busy. I'm always trying to do something. And like, yeah, a lot of this stuff too, at the end of the day, is like, you know, Birmingham's a cool city, and there's a lot of cool things. And this includes y'all too, as like guys who do a podcast here in Birmingham, and you guys interview people from Birmingham, some of these cool people from Birmingham. And like, Birmingham is a really cool place, and it deserves to be put on the map like all the other cool places in the world. And people like you guys, and people who have been on this show, and people like me are like what's gonna like change that and make it like cooler, you know, because it's like, you love it here, you love it here, you love it here, I love it here, everyone I know loves it here. People don't leave. People move here and think they're gonna go back, and they never leave because it's cool.
Well, once we get to skate park, it'll be really cool.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'll live there.
Well, dude, that's awesome, man. Thanks for saying that. That's nice of you.
For sure.
So you listen to a lot of podcasts, I assume. Or try to.
I try to when I can. Yeah.
Anytime I find other people, I'm always bugging him. I like pretty much every week. I'm like, hey, turn me on to a new podcast or something new I haven't heard of.
Just listen to the Nightclub. Leave me alone.
Yeah. It's like, dude, okay, besides the Nightclub, anything else out there that you've been listening to that should be put on my radar?
I mean, a lot of like, I listen to music, you know, most of the time. The podcasts are usually saved for like long drives or, you know, like a plane ride or something like that. But I like a lot of true crime stuff, and it's something that's like not to be made light of, but it's cool when like a group of people can like make something that's like such a big deal funny. So if you've never listened to Last Podcast on the Left,
I do listen to them. Yeah, they're really cool.
I highly recommend it. They're like super funny, and they talk about stuff that's like super morbid. And,
it's like really like dark at times.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm also big on like TV and movies and stuff too. So I'm like really like big into that like all the time.
Dune comes out next week. Yeah. Is it the 22nd? I'm pretty pumped about that.
I'm pumped, but I'm scared.
Have you been watching any trailers?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been watching trailers.
Oh, okay. I watched the first teaser trailer. I was like, I'm not watching trailers.
Yeah, I have not seen the newest trailer. I've only seen the teaser trailer, so I'm gonna go into it like that.
That's me. I want to go in blind.
Have you read the books or anything?
I read half of Dune. Half of Dune. It's a tough read. It's a lot of my friends' favorite books. Like,
it's my coworker's favorite book. He's read like there's a series.
Yeah. But the first one's the good one. The son took over some of them at some point and just screwed it up, from what I understand. But I read like halfway through the first one. It's kind of a tough read.
What do you mean? Just like long or just nuance?
I mean, it's just like it's like a whole world like created. So like there's like things
just
in there that like they kind
information.
of explain. It's like I don't want to compare it to like a. I mean, have you read any of the Game of Thrones books?
No.
So I've read some of those books, and it's like George R.R. Martin, and the same with the other guy that wrote Dune. They're trying to paint a picture for you for a world that they created in their mind. So everything is super detailed, and there's so much of it that at a certain point you kind of forget, like, oh, what does this mean, or what does this mean? So like, it's kind of hard. But I mean, I've seen the old movie, and it's not a great movie, but it's not a bad one either. And this one just kind of like, I don't know. I like Timothée Chalamet, but it just kind of seems like a big like grab with him, Like they put his face on it, and they know people are gonna watch it, even if it's like some crazy girl who like only likes him.
Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They just posted teasers
Are you
of that
serious?
yesterday.
They're making another Willy Wonka movie?
Yeah, I just heard about that too.
Yeah.
I'm just now hearing about that. I didn't know about that at all.
Yeah.
That's
but
crazy.
yeah, I'm big on TV and movies. So like as opposed to like podcasts, like I'll like download.
Well, I didn't mean to like put you on the spot. But yeah. I just always get
if you're gonna ask me, I mean, like, are y'all? Is there movies that you guys have seen?
I
or,
just
like, TV
finished.
shows that
I
you've
just
watched?
finished last night The Sopranos.
Okay, I just started The Sopranos.
Okay.
All right, don't watch
somebody already told me don't watch the prequel movie before, because that was my idea.
It ruins it.
My original idea was to watch
3 minutes. It spoils it. First 3 minutes is what. So I had started The Sopranos, made it up to season 6, but season 6 has a part 1 and a part 2.
Mm-hmm.
I finished part 1. I was like, I get it. I'm here. Let me watch the prequel. Don't. Just don't.
Yeah, so they told me do not watch the prequel, and also the main reason that somebody told me, not just because it will spoil the whole thing, the whole show for you, is like the movie is made to give you a different perspective on what you see in the TV show. So if you haven't watched the TV show, it goes back and talks about things in the TV show that it's supposed to make you think different about a situation or something that happens. So I started watching the TV show, but
well, because the movie, it's only available through like October, and then it gets pulled off, and then they'll like re-release it or something. Because that was me. I was like, I want to watch the prequel, but it's like, hey, it's only good through like the 31st.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to finish it.
I need to finish The Sopranos before I watch it.
I'm gonna try, but October is like also like my favorite month. Like I love Halloween and I love Christmas. So like usually around this time every year, like I do like 31 days of Halloween. And like I'll watch one horror movie every year, and then I'll post something about it, like on my Instagram story, like
every night.
Yeah, like a picture of the poster, and then like a description of the movie and how I felt about it. But I haven't done that because like I'm trying to finish that so I can watch the movie. But then I also have other stuff. Like I just finished that show Squid Game.
Dude,
I never even started
Dude, I highly recommend it.
I started it.
It's crazy. The story about the guy who made it is crazy. Like
it's all overdub, right?
Oh yeah. You can dub
subtitles.
You can dub it, and I put the subtitles on everything. So
because I would almost rather watch it. What I found,
it defaults to the subbed version.
Yeah,
which
I would probably rather watch the sub version.
So I watched the dub version with the subtitles on it because I watch everything with subtitles.
You do both.
Yeah, so like the dub is not great.
Squid Game.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I didn't like it,
but the story is amazing,
right?
And the twist is crazy. Like, yeah, it was really good. And then Ted Lasso, if you haven't watched that, it's good.
Dude, everybody's been telling me Ted Lasso.
Yeah, it's funny.
My coworker said season 2 wasn't as good as the first season.
They kind of dive into.
He said it gets more into like the character development, not so much about the American and Europe or whatever.
They kind of dive into like a mental health thing, which like personally for me, like I kind of liked. They like kind of show like a vulnerable side to a character and like go into mental health and like how that can affect you and like as somebody in the spotlight like that, So I kind of liked that part of it, but it was like they did that. And then they also still made it like really funny, like the original season was. Like there are funny moments. There's that Ted is still the same Ted. Like it's just like I thoroughly enjoy that show. I think it's like it's almost like too hard to beat.
Oh, that's good, man.
When is
Jason
Barry
Sudeikis
coming back?
I don't know. I've heard of that show too, and I've heard it's good.
It is surprisingly good.
Yeah,
I've never watched it, but I like that guy. What is
his name?
The
lead
actor guy.
Bill Hader. Bill Hader. Yeah, he's rad.
That's good. Watchmen. Hopefully, we get another season of Watchmen.
Yeah,
coming
I
out.
watched that. That was a crazy show. That was way more than I expected it to be.
Same.
I watched. If you haven't seen it, it's on Hulu. There's a Wu-Tang Clan show
I heard that was
on
really,
Hulu.
really good.
With actors, and like Method Man and RZA like are part of the writing process and the producing
But
and all that
actors
stuff.
playing them.
But they're actors playing them, and it like shows like kind of like their life story, like
How it
the
started,
stuff
all that.
before Wu-Tang Clan even came as a thing, and then like when Wu-Tang Clan was like formed, and like their process in recording studio, and like all kinds of stuff. And it's like really, really good. It's a good show. If you haven't seen it, it's awesome. Ryan Taylor at Good Neighbor actually put me onto it like a year ago. He was like talking about it at the shop one day, and then I just binge watched it, and I was like, this is awesome. And then like he was tattooing me like I guess a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, yo, the new season of Wu-Tang Clan's out, you should watch some of it. And there were already like 4 episodes out, so I was stoked.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's all new TV to check out. Well, dude, I don't know where we're at in the timeline. I don't know how long we've been talking, but
I
I'm
mean, it's
sure we
good.
can talk all night long, dude.
I could literally talk forever, so we can end it whenever you guys want.
Well, dude, it's been sick having you come on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
And,
I'm glad you guys invited me into your home and had me on the podcast. You know, I love this man right here.
We've been talking about it for weeks.
Yeah,
Come out, man.
dude.
It's been cool.
I'm stoked to be here. Thanks for having me. It was a good time, and like anytime you guys want me, I can sit here and talk all day long.
Dude, we'll have you back, man, for sure.
All right, cool.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.